In the world of boxing, few names command as much respect and admiration as Floyd "Money" Mayweather and Terence "Bud" Crawford, two undefeated champions, two masters of their craft, and two legends whose careers have left an indelible mark on the sport. But what if we could transcend time and pit these two icons against each other in their prime? How would Mayweather's tactical mastery fare against Crawford's dynamic offense? This is the fight of the ages. Buckle up. Floyd Mayweather is a fighter that really needs no introduction. The so-called TBE, he is without doubt one of the greatest, if not the best, to ever lace up a pair of gloves. The reason for that is because there really wasn't a time where one said Floyd was out of his prime. He had two careers, one in which he went by the name Pretty Boy and was an aggressive fighter that stepped on you, and one which he was Money and was a defensive master. Crawford, on the other hand, is the best fighter of our era and was the #1 pound for pound for a long time until now. The one thing that makes Crawford so dangerous is that he can switch stances at ease and be the aggressor on both feet. His counterpunching is also on an elite level, but the one thing that compares him with Floyd is, of course, his fight IQ and the way he knows every inch of the ring. Mayweather fought a lot of elite competition and for sure has tons of experience, but the one fight where he got tested the most and still prevailed was, of course, his 2007 bout with De La Hoya, where he still went by the name of Pretty Boy. Now, let's review what he did right in that fight. As the fight started, as predicted by many, De La Hoya came out firing, looking to hurt Mayweather in the early going, but Mayweather knew that De La Hoya would get tired.
To the center, to the rope before he can be effective.
Right. To land in short bursts and then go away out of punching range.
It's so difficult to get in to do that. And right there, Floyd angled his body to the fact that he neutralized those.
And Jacob on the back of De La Hoya's trunks. His two children who are not.
His head back.
Good left hook inside by De La Hoya. And for a moment,
his left eye, which will neutralize Mayweather counterpunching. He'll do very well.
Good across the top against Floyd Mayweather. There's another straight right hand landing for De La Hoya. And a jab and a right again. And the crowd goes nuts as De La Hoya begins to take over offensively, fighting the bigger man.
They didn't land effectively.
They landed enough to make.
De La Hoya continued with his tactics for the opening 4 or 5 rounds and had success. But Mayweather's refusal to engage with his onslaught had an impact on his plan with coach Freddie Roach.
And he lands the right cross across the...
You're not going to beat Floyd thinking. It is very effective.
Sledgehammer punching
him right into Mayweather's hand. When he lets the punches go, he does very well.
Yep, you saw what happens when Oscar waits.
Falling right back in the traps. Whether you land a clean punch on Floyd is not that important. Hit him on the shoulders, elbow.
Mayweather able to duck back. Straight right hand lead for Mayweather. Tremendously effective. This is why De La Hoya needs to find a way to try to apply the activity down the stretch. And there's your answer.
What he really wants.
Mayweather predicted before the fight that De La Hoya would gas out in the early rounds and tire in the championship rounds.
Mayweather 2-1 for Floyd. And again, here at the beginning of round 4, we see Mayweather landing
around the head with him. In this case here, also, he's fighting flat-footed. And he's not
worked in training camp on being more relaxed and less intense, but in the ring tonight.
And that has helped the tire.
There are the body shots, and there is a sustained attack to the body. He seems concertedly aware of it in that moment. And because he throws the body shots, he pins Mayweather against the quick left hook inside by Mayweather and a big right hand to Hoya. 29 out of 108. Mayweather precise and accurate. 33 out of 58. And again, right hand counters of Floyd Mayweather. He's so quick and slinky with his right hand. Every time De La Hoya gets recently down the stretch of those fights in which he's comfortable and confident. De La Hoya.
Sadly, for De La Hoya supporters, it is hard to argue that Mayweather was not right. Pretty Boy utilized a lot of counter-punching in the early going to counteract De La Hoya's attacks. Round by round, this continued to chip away at De La Hoya as Mayweather was gaining more control as the fight went on.
And just to show you that Oscar heard Freddie Roach, he fights in staccato bursts. He likes it that way. Partners in Golden Boy, along with Shane Mosley, who sparred with him. Another De La Hoya. Once again, Oscar being more active, setting up the assault with the jab. Putting Mayweather on. When he uses it, he puts Mayweather on the defensive. He's got it.
No, but De La Hoya is picking them off.
Looking for one more big counter shot. Oscar looking for one definitive rally down the to the round.
Mayweather was producing a lot more power punches late on, and he finished the stronger of the two boxers.
Stopped by Mayweather, but one punch.
Great fighter, as he throws basically
Very
one.
talented fighter.
Another De La Hoya rally against the rope, throwing and throwing. At this age, and after his long stretch of inactivity, this is his counters of Floyd Mayweather.
Now he's playing in the Florence game, playing man games.
Probably wasn't enough to put Mayweather in any jeopardy. Here would be to get another one of those big rallies against the ropes and somehow land the left hook. Landed one of those big, super clean left hooks upstairs.
This is an argument with fists, and the younger man appears to be.
This flurry will warm the hearts of De La Hoya's millions of fans. But the judges are one giant pot of money. Or will De La Hoya make good on his promise to keep on fighting even after this? Where does Mayweather go from this pinnacle after claiming that he's going to retire?
On that night, Mayweather had become a superstar as he got in there with one of the strongest fighters and was able to outsmart him quite easily.
New WBC Super Welterweight.
After this fight, Floyd would become money and his second career would start. But before we get into that, we should also look at what Terence Crawford does right in the ring. One of the fights where he also got tested and prevailed was of course against Showtime Shawn Porter. Porter was no joke, a hard-fought boxer that would jump on you at any given time and would not quit on any occasion. But this time, he was against the master of boxing.
Right now, we are underway for the welterweight championship.
Crawford typically likes to keep a measured pace in the opening rounds, but Porter simply wouldn't allow it. Had he gotten out of control, Porter could have eaten some big shots early on.
Opportunity for Shawn.
Inching closer and closer to Crawford. It was no surprise to Terence Crawford. Porter's fought a lot of different styles, but he's the Paul, a guy who fights left-handed, an orthodox fighter, a guy who can box and a guy who can fight, and a guy who can hit a good shot right there. You got to be cautious and be ready every time he comes in. Pitching.
Sitting right on top of the orthodox fighter. Porter just able to get away from the uppercut. Good exchange on the inside. Good action here in round two. Crawford lands a right hand.
The sixth round saw another accidental clash of heads open a cut between Crawford's eyes. It came just as Bud started to let his hands go, and the short reprieve allowed Porter to gather up steam again and start mauling the favorite.
Behind, at least on my scorecard.
Look at this from Bud
possibly the
Crawford.
official scorecard.
Early on in round six, as you see the head movement from Porter, but Porter now comes in, back and forth.
But individuals, critics, fans, they got questions of Terence Crawford tonight. It's a great opportunity for him to answer.
Touch, then power from Crawford. Wide swinging right hand from Porter off the mark. Attempt at the uppercuts from Crawford.
Bud is landing, but Porter's taking the play almost every.
A hard right hand from Porter seemed to briefly stun Crawford in the eighth round with an overhand right, but the Omaha, Nebraska native composed himself in the final minute, picking off Porter as he made his charge and landing a couple of crunching body shots.
And now sharpshooting to the head is Crawford. Good start to round number 8 for the champ.
Go either way.
And it happens
Depending on how
often
you
at
saw
this
it.
level, Trey.
Ooh.
Just missing with the left hand as Porter came in.
Porter is in control and he's bullying.
Lead right hand from Porter. And another one.
Various right hands. Porter's doing exactly what his father told him. Ooh, that body.
Having success. Porter with a couple of right hands. Crawford comes back with the left to the body as he has done a few times. Goes with it again.
That's been missing from Crawford, the jab. His son, Shawn Porter, for is separation.
The 10th round saw Crawford finally perfect his timing on Porter's lunging attacks.
That we showed are the body punches. 28, and there is the knockdown scored. Seeing what could be behind that jab. There's a combination. There's a lead left hand. Crawford for the moment. There's the overhand right. And another combination. Beautiful work by Crawford. Kenny's on the apron. And he's stopping the fight. His father says it's over. Terence Crawford has just stopped Shawn Porter.
That was it. Crawford had switched up this whole fight in a couple of minutes, and that happened only for one reason. In the 10th round, his corner informed him that he was down on the scorecards, and that is when he delivered. Now that we saw both fighters put on a boxing clinic, we understand that it would be a hard fight for anyone to score. They both don't allow mistakes to happen. Everything is calculated for them, and they both can see what the other fighter is going to do before he does it. And to back up that claim, we will show you perhaps the most one-sided fight Floyd Mayweather has ever had, and that is against the same fighter that knocked Pacquiao out cold with one punch, Juan Manuel Marquez.
Round one begins. Floyd Mayweather back in action. Yesterday, Juan Manuel Marquez said to us, 2 counter punchers.
Where you punch at a long distance.
Maybe tonight is the night that Floyd will liberally use the jab.
Intimidated by Floyd's size.
Well, what I was concerned about, I wanted to say right away, was the speed. And right now,
Much like Floyd does, and counters effectively later.
Good left hook in there by Marquez. The crowd delight. Quick left hook by Mayweather as he steps.
After a cautious first round which saw Marquez aim, but mostly fail to land a series of left jabs and hooks, he did connect with a neat combination in the second, only to find himself on the floor within seconds.
Marquez's left hooks have been easily blocked by Mayweather's right glove.
And you know,
but Floyd is trying to get
there hasn't been too much action so far because either guy can strike just like that at any moment.
And Mayweather's his straight right hands. Mayweather's his also, and there's a knockdown on a left hook. He's trying to step it up. He's landed a couple good shots.
Mayweather's only apparent danger was complacency, and he was caught momentarily in the 7th, but he recovered quickly, goading his opponent as he tried but failed to get through expert defenses.
There's a left hook that finally landed on the face. It seemed to do no great damage.
No, the impact on Floyd.
Mayweather pitching an absolute shutout.
Landing his right hand and his left hook with impunity. Pitch to do. So he's beating up the lightweight champion.
From the 9th, Mayweather decided to up the tempo in search of an early finish. That did not materialize against a famously tenacious opponent, but there was never any question about Mayweather's superiority.
November 14, Pacquiao prepares to fight.
Keep looking at those weight divisions, disregarding the weight division. Cody's going to be a much tougher fighter, I think, than people expect.
Yeah, will the result? Brilliant combination by Mayweather. If that didn't hurt, I'm not sure what would. Marquez steps up and answers the challenge. All the steam seems to be gone out of Floyd.
You notice, very, very rarely does he go up on the ropes because he knows if he goes on a left jab. The only thing I haven't seen Floyd throw is a good left hook to the body.
From the careers of great fighters of the past, punches against a super top opponent, maybe they did. But this is the kind of performance that establishes how brilliant. 15 seconds as Juan Manuel Marquez tries to up.
What a performance by Floyd Mayweather.
What a return to the sport. 21 months off, and he's better than ever.
It was a 12-round beatdown, and Floyd Mayweather had won every single round of that fight. If Crawford fought that version of Floyd, then it would probably be very hard to give the fight to Terence.
Floyd, money!
But Mayweather isn't the only one to dominate a pound-for-pound fighter. Crawford, as we all know, finally fought Spence in July of 2023, and it was perhaps the best performance of his career at the age of 35.
Only 2 southpaws in his pro career. A win over Emmanuel Lardy in October of 2013.
The pressure from Spence, calculating. He's doing a fine job right now of trying to
Spence builds everything behind that jab.
We're going to see how that goes. And the other key thing here is early rounds, you would have expected maybe.
High output Crawford, yes, likes to collect that information.
But it's the Spence jab that's doing the effect right now, or is having the effect.
And punch. But here's the pressure. Spence cornering Crawford. The jab.
And he did there, and Crawford was able to counterpunch.
In junior welterweight, looking to win the vacant ring welterweight title. Spence and
Crawford, renowned for his ability to switch between southpaw and orthodox stances, mainly fought as a southpaw in this match. In the second round, he delivered a strong right cross that caught Spence off balance, resulting in Spence's first career knockdown.
Double jab, good combination.
At that distance, was able to take a lot from those shots from Crawford.
Talked about after round 1.
And he's got that kind of pressure that just builds momentum.
Speaking of Spence, I mean, just brilliant. I mean, doesn't do too much. But just
the epitome of a textbook fighter. Errol Spence, there's
one of those counter punches.
And Crawford with a sharp jab, fast, explosive jab to the head and the body. Combination that drops Errol Spence for the first time in his career.
In the third round, Spence aimed to reverse his fortunes following the knockdown, unleashing powerful punches, including an early left hook that connected solidly.
There's another one, and now Spence going to the body. The jab from Crawford. So Spence looking to get back into this fight after hitting the deck. Midway point of the third, stab jab to the body by Spence. Quick combination.
Spence takes that step back.
The jab by Crawford, and again that right hand is Terence Bud Crawford.
And we got a little bit of sense of that. He started off really good with the jab. Double, triple jab.
Counter-punching has been superb, and he's picked his spots, and when he's done it, it's
the footwork from Crawford in the openings.
The left hand.
In the seventh round, Crawford knocked Spence down twice, first with a clean right uppercut early in the round, and then later with a right hook.
From Crawford. I mean,
already big on the scorecards, won the first round on its unofficial scorecard. To Terence Bud Crawford, making it look way too easy. Errol Spence going down for the first 2 times in his career.
When he tries Spence, I mean, there's always a power. The accuracy right now from Crawford.
Spence continues the one moving forward behind a steady jab and body work. He has been stopped in his
28, so it has not been a weapon for him.
And after such a beating, the referee had seen enough.
I mean, the way Spence reacts to being hit by the jab is incredible. Spence desperately trying to land something of consequence. Meanwhile, fight Errol Spence on inline skates.
We said it would be hard for Crawford to beat the Mayweather that fought Marquez, but we also can't deny the fact that Crawford can punch like a train. Ultimately, the outcome of this hypothetical match would likely hinge on several factors, including Mayweather's ability to control the pace and Crawford's capacity to apply relentless pressure while avoiding Mayweather's counters. While Mayweather's defensive acumen gives him an edge, Crawford's dynamic style and power could make him a formidable opponent. In the end, it's a matchup that would generate intense debate among fans and experts. We will never know.